Namaskar. So today we thought we would do a Rupakam Jathiswaram, because Jathiswarams are in various tala cycles, as you already know. This is probably the first Jathiswaram that I learnt. Most of you would have also learnt the first Jathiswaram, which is the Kalyani Jathiswaram from the Tanjavur quartet, and probably the maximum taught Jathiswaram, because it's simple. And Kalyani Ragam is very impressive, and it's a small Jathiswaram in that sense, because Rupaka Adi Talam is a longer tala cycle also, and Mishram of course is a more complex, so you take it a little later. So Rupaka Talam is the simplest. Sa ni da pa da ma ga re ni re sa ni re ga ma pa da sa. Very musically very strong Jathiswaram. And since this is the first time even a Jati is introduced to a little student, because it's the first Jathiswaram that is taught, very simple approach is maintained in the Jati as well. Basically, ta hata jam tarita, ta hata jam taritai, kuntarita, jam tarita, jagatarita, kuntarita, takuntarita, tarikitatum, takatarikitatum, takadikutarikitatum. Basic Jati that we all learn. Can we do it? Sa ni da pa da ma ga re ni re sa ni re ga ma pa da ni sa ni da pa da ma ga re ni re sa ni re ga ma pa da ni sa ni da pa da ma ga re ni re sa ni re ga dragada talan kutaka dikutatam hata jam padita tai dana kukuntarita jam padita jagatarita kukuntarita tadikitatum takatadikitatum takadikitatum. Very simple, straight, direct Jati. Do you think you can make one Jati? Rupakatala Jati?
Try.
Yes. Please try.
Again, 6 to 8 avatars.
Kanak remains the same for most of the approaches. So what tadikitatum, takatadikitatum, takadikutadikitatum ta. This is what was the basic 1, 2, 3 that is done in supposing you make the same tadikitatum, takatadikitatum, takadikutadikitatum, takadimi. Takatadikitatum, takadikutadikitatum, takadimi. Just giving you an idea. Of course, you're free to do whatever you want to do. तक्का एक बचाना.
We start with then
Takka should then go in there.
Or we can-
previous correct.
Or previous.
Do something where taka comes there. Tadditta taidititai. Correct. Descending is correct. It's coming in how many out? Tadditta tai tai. Tai tai taidititai. Ditta tai taidititai. Ta taidititai ta. दो में आया.
This is 2. 4 or 6.
See, tangita tatta dinna, dhingita tatta. You can begin with that. Always works. Tangita tatta dinna, dhingita tatta dinna, or tangita tatta dinna, dhingita tatta dinna. Basically, you're making it a 6. 4 के साथ 2 जोड़ रही हूँ ना. Because you also need to start a little slow and then kind of build it up with a korapu and then finish it off. So if you're using tadditta there, somewhere you can use tadditta, ditta, ta somewhere earlier also.
Because of the
if you want. Excuse me, you are doing a Jathi, not a chord way. How are you going to say takita, takita, takita? ये तो गैप्स तो अलग हो गए. No, you don't have to come. You don't have to make tadditta, ditta, ta. You can make tadditta only.
Okay. But the bowls are same. The shoulder.
क्या?
You put it in the Jathi pattern.
बोल फिक्स करना पड़ेगा ना उसके बाद. ता हत जम तरिता की ता धी किटा जम तरिता की ता. If you're ta, de ta. If you're saying ta hata jam tarita ta de ta. धी किटा जम तरिता ra ke ta. Or ta hata jam tarita de ta. धी किटा जम तरिता de ta. Whatever you want to say.
ये चार बार ता हट झम तरिता दे ता तत हट झम तरिता दे ता ता हट झम तरिता तत झम तरिता हाँ ऐसे हाँ यहाँ
So now we are ready with the Jati.
somewhat
Can we recite it?
okay
Tallang kuta kadataka tarikadatom.
ता हट झम तरिता तद्दिता तत हट झम तरिता तद्दिता ता हट झम तरिता तत हट झम तरिता ता हट झम तत हट झम तत हट झम
Tata jam ta tak tarikadatom ditta. Very good. Can we do this? So now anyway you know how to make a Jati. The whole idea was to make a Jati. So that in each talam you must be able to think in terms of the arithmetic and in terms of the structure. Now you came up with the tirmanam of tadditta takkadatakadatakadatum ditta tadditta takadikekadatakadatakadatum ditta takkadatakadatakadatum ta kadatakadatakadatum. So now that somewhere it has to reflect in the entire flow of the things also. So that's one project that we had to do and which we've done. Now we move to the swaras in this also. The beautiful Kalyani swarams that are there. Which swaram would you like to take up? Since you know the Jathiswaram, we will take up one a swaram and see how we can da or sa. Sa. You want the Anupallavi? No, we are doing the sa, the last sa, no?
Okay, last
Sa, sa, ni da pa da ma ga re ni re sa ni re ga ma ga ma pa da ni sa ni ga re sa ni da pa ma ga re ni re sa re ga ma da ni sa di ni sa. Now you see we followed the music completely. Sa ni ga re sa ni da pa ma ga re ni re sa re ga ma da ni sa di ni sa ni ga re sa ni da pa ma ga re ni re sa re ga ma da ni sa di ni sa ni ga re sa ni da re sa ni ta pa ni da ma pa da ni sa ni ga re sa ni da re sa ni da pa ni da ma pa da ni sa ga re sa ni da re sa ni da pa ma ga ma pa da ni sa ga re ni da ma ga re sa ni sa re ga ma da ni re sa. What did you do then? So you see lot of takita being used in the last phrase. Slow, then fast, then tangita tatta dinna, then takita walk, and then takita. The entire thing is actually done in a takita format. So the slow format holding, and then the medium takita to be done in a tatimete, and then the fast takita to be done in tatimete. So this gives practice for the student to be able to hold all the takitas. Do that again. Sa 1, 2, 3, 4. Sa ni ga re sa ni dari sa ni da pa ni da ma pa ma pa da ni sa ni ga ni sa ni dari sa ni da pa ni da ma pa ma pa da ni sa ga ri sa ni da ri sa ni da pa ni da pa ma ga ma pa da ni sa ga ri ni ri ni da ma ga ma ga ri sa ni sa re ga ma da ri ga ma da ni da ma da ni ri sa. So really I think this is so, in the sense you are so conditioned to this particular Jathiswaram being done like this, that you to think of any other choreography beyond this seems sometimes very difficult, because it's so set in its the way it is, that it's the pattern is so beautiful that you really feel sometimes you can't better this, you can't really do anything beyond this, except maybe change the takitas in a sense, you know, the slow takitas, give it new modern movements or something which is different. That's about it. Otherwise I think, you know, it's so nicely, it's sitting so well. The visuality can be changed, but I think the basic content is very rich in the way it is handled. So it really doesn't need too much of tampering and really understanding. You just need to understand what are the things that are going into it in terms of the inputs, the slow takita and then the medium and then the fast and the tangata tatta dinna and then the walk. I would like to say, of course, in a Jathiswaram, that the beauty of the side walks is also equally important, because that's the punctuation that you do in every Jathiswaram according to the pace of the Jathiswaram. And the look, our teachers used to really insist on the way, because this is a very stylized aspect of the Jathiswaram which needs to be taught. It can't just happen. You can't get the tala right and it be okay. The look, the hands, the arms, everything needs to be well done. So we just do that once in the Kalyani Jathiswaram. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sa. The levels are very important in this. The first level of the dip and then the very, very majestic stretch, you know. So that has to be emphasized. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sa. Ni da. See, it's very reposeful. So you have the time to, the look has to be very distant. So see, this is not sometimes seen as important at all. It's just seen as something that is a comma, and you know, you just gloss over it. But you can create immense beauty by beautifying this little movement, and this can also be used elsewhere. You see, we just see it as a Jathiswaram Adavu.
Yeah, we never use it anywhere else, in any other.
Which is very sad. This can be used. This can be used very beautifully as, you know, links to many other things, which I have used in some of the things in the later choreographies. When you do it on some other theme, you must remember some of these movements which we take for granted, and we just say, oh, this is just a punctuation movement, how will this make any statement? That's not true. And because, you know, there is lot of a kind of a beauty in it, you know. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Sa ni da pa da ma ga re ni re sa ni re ga ma pa da ni sa ni da pa da ma ga re ni re sa ni re ga ma pa da ni sa ni da pa da ma ga re ni re sa ni re ga ma pa da ni sa. So, and of course we improvise on the movements at the back. We do a lot of other movements, the old movements I remember, which were done in the Tanjavur school. It used to be This used to be a very nice movement which we used to do, or a straight movement of the side which can also look very nice, and of course this movement on the side we used to do, or a movement like this which we used to do. So many of the variations that you can do that look very nice as you go back. You can keep beautifying it and adding to the existing pool of movements. You don't every time necessarily have, this is like classroom dancing then, you know. So when you reach a performance kind of a thing, you keep moving and you keep changing your movements when you go back. So that's the kind of creativity that you can do in a Jathiswaram and make it more interesting and visually challenging, you know, to the viewer also. He doesn't have to anticipate, अच्छा now this only movement will come, अच्छा side जाएगी फिर पीछे जाएगी, 2 बार हो जाता है, then you know you feel the same thing is going to happen, but you must throw surprises at them and say no, it's not. The same movement also can be, you know, interpreted differently. So any questions on this Jathiswaram?
In this movement, when you want to link one movement, can we use any other hasta other than pataka?
Not in the Jathiswaram traditionally. Traditionally the pataka is the only one used, but in some other context if you are using it and you want to use this movement and not really use the spirit of this movement but want to change it and use it elsewhere, you are free to move any other swara pattern or anything where you want to use this spirit of this movement or spirit of this movement, you can. Now this looks nice. If you do the same movement, it depends on how you knit it and where you are planning to use it.
It's not fixed.
No, it's fixed in the Jathiswaram. In Jathiswaram you can't do sa, no, that will not work. No, Jathiswaram you have to follow this. But I am saying the spirit of this movement, if you use it elsewhere, then you can आगे पीछे अगर कटका मुखा आ रहा है तो this also can be done in कटका मुखा. Depends on how you are using it, you know. So those kinds of things are. Any other questions on this? So please practice this. Can we do the namaskar?